This video will be a tutorial on the making and editing of registration forms in the e-RegisterNow system. To get to the main registration forms page, go to Edit Registration Forms. This page is where you can create and modify registration forms. Click on the blue Create New Form button to begin the form creation process. The green Duplicate Forms button does exactly what it says and duplicates selected forms. The best way to make new forms is to duplicate a form, then add and remove questions. The red Delete Forms button deletes selected forms. Note, you cannot delete a form if it is attached to an event that has registrants. The View Field Names button shows you which forms share the same field names within the C-level hierarchy, and displays which forms share field names, and every question contains a prompt, field name, and user data. A question is made up of three parts. The field name is what the data is stored under, the question prompt is what the registrant sees, and the answer the registrant gives. If you create a new question that shares a field name with another question on a different form, you cannot change the field name. The other question with the field name will change this question's field name back because data cannot be stored under two different field names. If you need to change the question's field name, you need to delete it and create a new question. You can filter by active and inactive forms which are attached to enabled events by using the Display drop-down menu. You can check off one registration form's checkbox and the system will show you all of the events that are using that registration form on the right. This only works with one registration form at a time. If you select a connected event on the right and click Jump to Selected Event, you will immediately be taken to the Events page in Edit Events. While in Edit Events, go to the Registration/Enrollment page to change which form is being used. And if you click on Edit Form, you'll be taken directly to editing the form within Edit Registration Forms. Every form must meet a set of minimum requirements. These requirements are that every form must ask for the registrant's given name, surname, and email. If one of these requirements are not met, there will be a blank space on the receipt where that field name's data should be. Click on the name of one of your forms to edit it. You will now be on the Standard Questions page. These questions appear on 90% of registration forms, so they are already set up for you. You just have to decide which ones you would like to use. On this page is where you can change the form's name, select whether to allow this form to be included in the portal default forms list, which approves the form to be usable as a form via portal registration, and select who this form applies to in the portal. This enables a form to only be available to a specific family group member in the portal. Adult accounts will only see adult forms, and child accounts will only see child forms. This is used because typically adult forms ask for more information than child forms. Moving on to the standard question tabs. The Question Enabled tab is simply a drop-down box where you select if you want the question to appear on the registration form. The Field Name tab is the string that data is stored under, and standard question field names cannot be changed. Display Style is where you would like the input box to appear, either beside the question prompt, horizontal, or under it, vertical. If you want to set the question to require an answer, you need to set the Compulsory tab to compulsory over optional. The Read Only tab is used to set a question to only be readable and the customer won't be able to input anything. If Show on Review is enabled, it shows the question prompt and the answer that was input on the review page. The Hide for Second Registrant or More tab tells the system to only ask the first registrant this question, and with more registrants it will automatically use the first registrant's answer. This is useful for families that are registering for something and they all have the same phone number. Next, we have Custom Questions. Custom questions always follow standard questions on your registration form. If you want a standard question to follow a custom question, you have to make a custom question using the field name for the standard question found on the standard question page. For example, if you want to ask for the registrant's email last, you would make a custom question and put email box as the field name. On the main custom questions page, if you click on one of your custom questions, the right side of the screen will then display which forms have that field name on it. Question field name is where you input what you would like the data to be stored under. Make sure that it is descriptive for easy recall and for reports. No spaces are allowed, but underscores are. Question prompt is the wording that the registrant sees on the form during the registration process. Example response is the light text that appears as a placeholder on the registration form. Question type is where you select how you would like the registrant to answer the question. Let's cover a couple of the more obscure options. 1. Waiver. This option turns the question into an I accept or I do not accept contract. The waiver wording itself needs to be uploaded in a .txt file to the system using Tools, File Upload. You then input the file name into the file name box. 2. file list/file list from C-level. After uploading a .txt file with the options you would like to appear, a drop-down menu is created. 3. Email. This option allows the registrant to enter another email address and checks to see if there is an @ symbol within the answer. There are many different use cases for this field, like signing up multiple people from a company or sending a registration as a gift. If you would like to use this question for sending an e-card, you must check the Send e-card to this address upon registration box in order for an email to send to the email address input. Any question with multiple responses like radio buttons and checkboxes, you need to separate the response options by a tilde. By starting the input with nothing tilde something, you will make a blank option. Always start a compulsory question with a blank option. This is necessary because if there is not a blank and a customer misses the question, whatever the default answer is what will be taken as the answer, so you'll never be sure as to whether if it is an actual answer or not. Note: file upload is restricted to .docx, .pdf, .xlsx, .txt, and image file types. Display this question on the registration form is where you select if you want the question to appear on the registration form. Never hide a compulsory question. Allow recall buttons to recall this field is where you can control if a customer can recall their information from this field or not. This field should be used sparingly because if enabled, someone can get easy access to the customer's information by just guessing the correct phone number, email, etc. By leaving this field disabled, it helps to keep customer information safe. Run validation process is where you enable custom code that e-RegisterNow has written for you. This code triggers a custom response based on a keyword. For example, if employee number codes follow a specific pattern, the code will validate that an input is a valid employee number and trigger a discount. Click on the hyperlink for more information. Next is the Pricing Options tab. There are 3 different options for adjusting an event's price based on a specific response. 1. Question Response Surcharge Type 1. This can change the event cost based on an answer given. You can multiply by, subtract, or add a value that is input into the If Payment is in Canadian or the If Payment is in US box. For example, if your company has a membership and your question is, "Are you a member?" if the customer answers yes, you can subtract $10 from the total. 2. Question Response Surcharge Type 2. This option modifies the event cost by a valid number that is input. You can multiply by, subtract, or add by the number input. For example, if your event does registration by group, but you still want to charge for each person, your question would be, how many people are in your group? You can then multiply the event cost by the number that the customer input. 3. Question Response Coupons. Specific answers to this question triggers a coupon. Please see the coupons video for more details. Now we have the Event Enrollment Options tab. This tab enrolls a customer into the selected event a certain number of times based on their input. This is great for selling something like t-shirts. You make an event for small size t-shirts and select that event for this question, and the customer can type or select how many small t-shirts they would like. So if they input 4, they will be enrolled in the small t-shirts 4 times.